Somewhere between the bottom of the climb and the summit is the answer to the mystery of why we climb. Greg Child. Dude, it's still a flippin' mystery to me, man. This game was brutal for newer players. One of the first things I quickly remembered was called For Honor, not With Honor. And oh, the cheese and BS were still here in force. Now, I played back during the eruption of Mount Ignis event in 2018, and promptly left the game. And here we are, and oh man, coming back was a joy and a mistake. I approached the game from the perspective of a novice, and picked the Warden. It felt like it was a good starting point. The game describes him as easy and straightforward. Getting back into this game is not welcoming at all. The matchmaking was rough. I was going against guys that were 3 times my senior, getting my butt kicked and stomped into the ground. Matches felt evenly matched only a dozen or so times in the 100 games I played. Most would just rage and say F this, but I was hooked. There was a magic in this game and I could feel it. From the character design, to the fights and mechanics, bashing, guard-based reactions, parries, reads, it was all hitting that sweet dopamine brain itch, even when I was getting brutalized. Now, it might be the masochism talking that years of Dark Souls gave me, but I liked the challenge. Warden is the poster boy of baby's first character, and wow did it feel like everyone knew how to counter me with the shoulder bash. Dude, it's trap. Like everyone could dodge it, it was very predictable, yet I still did it like it was ingrained into my brain. And oh man, was it a hard habit to break, especially because it would work from time to time perfectly. Some blockable mix-ups are not very complex. A lot of people would parry more times than not, and I found myself just sending out zones randomly, which worked, but as we went further into matches against better opponents, it was another crutch that was quickly dealt with. Now, one of the things I tried to do a lot was attack from the left and mix the zone in since it came from the right, but even felt like that was read like a book. The Warden does not have many great openers. He just doesn't. Shoulder bash could be dodged or outright avoided. Valiant Breakthrough is a top-heavy that was blocked a lot. Now, he did abuse it a lot in team fights, mainly using it to pop in and deal damage, and for the love of God, not give the enemy revenge, though I messed it up plenty of times.
You captured Zone A.
The first 25 games had more losses than wins, but getting back into the swing of things was still exciting. My first match on the map was on the map Beachhead. The first fight was against a shinobi, a guy named Mythical7573 and to be honest, it didn't end very well. Actually, the first match was a shit show and we lost horribly. Now, Mythical here, it's not very impressive. I just didn't know how to parry. Just didn't know how to parry. He was beating me up and bashes. Just kind of still don't know how to deal with those, actually. For the most part, you can block them or dodge them. I just don't really know. I know this guard break, but oh yeah, look at this freaking finisher. It was so amazing. Like the shadow hands, I love it. This Warden fight wasn't that great. But I was learning, and it's the first match, and I just kind of took my lumps and was turned into a pinata. Of course, again, reminder: For Honor, not With Honor. These guys just ganged up on me. First revenge versus parry wasn't very exciting. But again, first game was learning. Super excited about it. This Conqueror was like rep 7, man. Like he was pretty high, but his execution was amazing. Like the Gorgon and everything was so neat. But again, I was just demolished this game, and man, the first one, oof. The first duel I won came to the second game against the Raider, but realistically, it was a lot of flailing and just light spam. That game was also a loss. The third game, well, the clip sums it up pretty well. It was slow and painful. The fourth game was my first win of the run, and one of the best in the game stat-wise. I didn't die. I had 7 objective catchers, and it was great. Though this win, and possibly the next one, the 5th game, is most likely because of the most busted Highlander of the run, a guy called Buster Douglas 71. apt name. It was also the reason why I lost the 6th game, because the dude had 20 kills that game. He was just slaughtering us left and right.
Enemy team is breaking. Defeat.
Game 8. I didn't do much, but the shoulder bash go burr was one of the few moments that would fuel my addiction to that move. Game 11. Shout out to this guy, DrippyRose1k. Now, during the event, the server started to crap out, and it was just me and him and a ton of bots. We had a good few fights, and it was still fun. I lost, though I wasn't really paying attention to the score of that game. Now, game 13 didn't feel like any significant game, and I wasn't really thinking about it. But enter the most annoying guy of the run. Smile you out. He was on my team for that game, and I didn't really notice him demolishing the enemy team until the end of the scoreboard when he had 15 takedowns. Now, Mr. Smile, you were the bane of my existence on the enemy team. I had no clue how to deal with you. It was just relentless bashes and beatdowns. Heck, I couldn't even run away. Now, my team won the first one against you, as I was being a meat pinata on point C, but the 15th and 16th games against you were just insane. Great job, dude. I'm still salty. Yeah, I think this ended up being like the only good fight I had in this entire run was against these two guys, and obviously I got saved by my teammates. It was a nice time to actually have someone, back me up, considering I was just getting, beat up. But that would be the only good fight, because the rest of the time would be on point B here against Smile You Out and his friends. Yeah, I took care of this guy pretty easily. And I was doing well until, his friend showed up, which is Mr. Smile. Mr. Smile, yeah, there he is. Just whooped my ass. Like, if I had finished that guy a little sooner, maybe we'd get the point. But we broke right here, and then I just was instantly taken out right at the end here. Yeah, this Orochi guy, this Tony Choppa, shout out to the One Piece, but yeah, he was the only guy I really had a slightly decent time with. But again, I just didn't really finish him off very quickly. That superior parry, amazing, but here's Mr. Smile, just beating my ass again. Yeah, he was everywhere. I could not get away from this guy on any of the points. He was just running and beating everyone down. I think this was my best fight against him, the closest one. But, again, just relentless on the bashes and the beatdowns, and, I need to parry more. I really do. Yeah, I mean, even 2v1, the guy was a monster.
You've captured Zone C.
Now, of course, when I thought my worries were over, oh no, an old friend shows up to hand me my ass even more. And of course, in case you weren't noticing or paying attention to his name, because I know I wasn't, KillaHandlez here was from Game 3, back to haunt me again during Game 17. And it went about as well as you would expect from the last time I fought him.
You lost Zone C. Defeat. You captured Zone A.
Now, my performance was less than stellar, and besides a few games like this Ghost Weapon Shigoki, not much happened. Everything up to Game 25. Now, Game 25 was awesome and had my favorite team member throughout the whole run. This guy called the Lucas Hudson. We were in super sync and we wrecked that game. It didn't look like much, but felt amazing. It was a really good game, and it was just teamwork, man. Teamwork. Beautiful. Never happened again. Yeah, I mean, it's just beautiful teamwork. He kind of kept everyone off of me, and I just kind of kept everyone off on him. He was just really good at beating up his opponents and just kind of rotating and helping me out. We kept point A here for the majority of the game. Like I said, there he is, boom, boom. He came in right at the end to help me. And again, no revenge, really. See, this guy, actually, I did very well against. It's freaking 3 or 4 games against Mr. Smile here, and I was kind of knew what this character did. Again, boom, Lucas is just in there with the haymakers and the headshots. He was just amazing. I really enjoyed playing with this guy. I wish I had the foresight to go send him a friend request, but I did not. But yeah, no, I loved playing this match, and he was just really good, and he knocked people around just like they were nothing. Honestly, he's probably he's the main contender why I might play Warlord next for my next 100 games, just because of just the powerhouse. He just sat on this point and went nowhere like a rock, and it was just great. There's a couple times I probably could have helped him, but you know, obviously I was busy fighting this guy. But it was just I can't say it enough. It was great. It was freaking great.
Enemy team is breaking.
Now, a shout out to a guy called I'm Little Anime during match 26. I had good fights with him, and ironically, he gave me the most anime ending to one of my duels so far. Mainly things didn't significantly change my understanding of the game until game 27. It's where things started to tip in my favor. It was a great feeling, and it was the start of my first winning streak. But unfortunately, my trail of greatness had a cost. My friend Lucas Hudson was on the enemy team this time, and was my main opponent. Honestly, it was a great tragedy to have to, ground pound him, but it was the beginning of my 6th streak victory. The losses after this point could honestly never feel as bad as fighting Lucas. Yeah, the next fight here with Lucas was pretty good. I just realized he had a penchant for overheads, and I just really, once I turtled, I was able to get the better hand. I guess that's just how it was going. With a lot of people were just spamming stuff, and I was actually taking a step back. Freaking the crushing parry or crushing counters are amazing. Yeah, the tragedy, the pain. But yeah, we won. That was the first win. This felt amazing. This 2v1 was one of a couple I did very well. It ended up being against 2 Wardens, and I guess I was really showing what I learned over the last 30 games. and I kind of kicked their ass a little bit. Not that I was perfect, but there was definitely a lot of things they were doing that was very, like, I remember doing this. Of course, everyone, including especially the Wardens, are, dodging that. But, yeah, for the most part, so many parries, and I was really happy with this particular performance. Again, I guess they were at a top party, because this is the second time, and thank goodness for my freaking teammate for saving me here. What was also weird is he was trying to get the execution to stop, and he couldn't, and he was obviously beating me up, so I don't know what happened there, but that, again, awesome. But yeah, I just let them beat him up, and that was the end of that one. Easy peasy. Now, I remember this one being a little more difficult. Well, yeah, all of them dropping down. I couldn't really get point B for very long, and I was constantly getting my ass kicked. This is Sparta right here. Felt amazing. Felt really cool. Did not do well after this, though. I don't even, like, oh yeah, so again, they're just on me. And this is the amazing thing ever. Lawbringer pushes them into the catapult, and that was cool too. That victory was a little hard. This guy was so annoying. He was like the quintessential Orochi. Like, every other attack was just a freaking, what's the word I'm looking for? A dodge attack? There you go. Yeah, he starts doing that like crazy. It was a good duel. It's just a shame that, random guy, but hey, we won. Oh, this raider was nutty. Actually, not raider, I'm sorry, berserkers. The berserkers are really cool. I don't know what that character's name is, but every time I've had them in a game, they just lit me on fire for like no reason, and it was always the most annoying thing ever. This match wasn't that great, but I had fun fighting this guy. The all block is just, I don't know, I'm a slower player, so when these guys just start spamming the all block and you see them spinning it, I usually wait long enough until it goes away. That's the only time I beat that guy, because he freaking approached me with like 2 health. But again, there's another win, and oh, flip, 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 flip. Yeah, he was just bullying the bot. That was fun, throwing him off, but then he immediately threw me off. But this I was really getting the hang of fighting Aramusha. And this fight was like super hard to try and finish off, because no one was able to really execute them, and there was a lot of revives in this match. It was kind of going on for a while. I really wanted it to end. Which is why I did this. Poor guy, but you know what? They both died, and that was it. That was the end. Now, leading up to Game 40 was not a great time. I had a lot of losses, and getting my ass kicked made me grow pretty weary of this game. 40 was the first and only time I wanted to give up on a match. My teammates had left, we couldn't hold a single point for long, the enemy team was hundreds of points ahead. All of my fights were losses. Oh my god, I just want to give up at this point. Like, this was the normal situation for the last 7 games. Like, I was starting to feel like this was going to be what the game is actually like, and just toxic like everyone was saying, and I finally plateaued.
You captured Zone C. Your ally has been killed. Defeat.
But nah, after that game, I felt really silly because, you know, looking at the stats here, I started my best win streak in the whole run. It was 8 games, followed by another 5 win streak, then a 6 win streak. All right, those were only broken up by 1 or 2 losses. I was still having fun.
You lost Zone A.
Yeah, I felt more confident in my ability to fight. I was parrying a lot more consistently and even figured out how to mix up a bit. Feints were still a bit of a mystery for me. I couldn't quite hit the button fast enough, and for the most part, I relied on some moves just being faster than my opponent. It's probably not the best way to play, but I started to get more defensive in fights against 2 opponents. I would just turtle up and defend and only really get aggressive when I had revenge. I believe it's called anti-gank, and the point is to just waste their time and hope your teammates help, like this guy right here. Felt on top of the world. You know, I was doing great, win streaks, awesome. Top scoreboard a couple of times, you know, maybe top 3. It was great until about game 65. Game 69 through 80 I did not get a lot of footage for. I began to falter a lot. I lost a lot of games more than I won, and wins really felt shallow or not as fun. I was outright carried a lot of the games, minus 1 game. I never surpassed 3 takedowns. It felt terrible. I stumbled a lot at the end, but I ended up finishing strong. I finished the series on the same map as Game 1, which was Beachhead, and it felt poetic to have actually a win here. It was a great wrap-up to the 100 games. Talking about stats a little bit, I already mentioned my win streaks, but my longest losing streaks were 4, and that happened twice in this run between games 69 to 72 and 77 to 80. My highest renowned score was 599 in game 36. Don't ask me what I did. I think I just stood on a point a lot. My highest takedowns was 13 in game 51. I was just rolling in them. The lowest deaths was 0. It only happened 3 games. That was games 4, 12, and 62. Now, the most deaths I had was 8, and that happened more times than I'd like to admit, a whopping 6 games. 16, 72, 77, 79, 83, 93. And yeah, I won a lot, doesn't mean I had to get my ass kicked the whole time. And if you notice those numbers, a lot of them are leading towards the end of the 100. Now, I ended up winning 59 of the 100 games, so 59% win rate. And I averaged only 2 objective counters per game, 6 takedowns per game, and 4 deaths per game. I'll be posting the majority of the game's highlights on my shorts, or else we'd be here for hours. Otherwise, shout out to all the cool players on this list, and a few content creators I ran into along the way. Finally, math and stats. I hope you like spreadsheets.